Welcome to What the Tech, the show that cuts through all the hype to bring you the tech news you can actually use. All right, let's get right into it.
Okay, I want you to imagine something for a second. What if your entire country just quit Zoom? Like every single government agency, every department, all at once. Sounds kind of crazy, right? But believe it or not, this is the jumping off point for a huge tech story unfolding in Europe as we speak. And we are talking about a massive number here, 2.5 million. That's how many French civil servants are getting ready to ditch the US video apps they've been using. You know, the big ones like Zoom and Microsoft Teams. And to be clear, this isn't some small experiment. We're talking about a complete nationwide overhaul by 2027.
So what's the game plan here? Well, France has officially mandated that everyone is moving to a homegrown platform. It's called Visio, and no, it has absolutely nothing to do with the Microsoft one, just a coincidence. The goal is to get all 2.5 million of those employees switched over by 2027. But that brings us to the real question. Why go through all this trouble? You see, this move isn't really about which software has the best features. It's deeply political. Yeah, data privacy is a big piece of the puzzle for sure. But the bigger fear? The risk of foreign governments being able to pressure, or worse, just shut down their most critical communications. It all boils down to one thing: taking back control.
And that idea, that desire for control, brings us to the core concept driving this whole thing. It's a term you're probably going to be hearing a lot more of: the sovereignty doctrine.
So what exactly is digital sovereignty? Well, put simply, it's the idea that a nation should have total control over its own digital destiny. That means its data, its hardware, and its software. You know, think of it like this. A country controls its own borders, right? Or its own power grid. This is the same idea, just for the digital world. It's all about independence and, of course, security. This quote from the European Commission just hits the nail on the head. The fear is that Europe's reliance on tech from other countries could literally be weaponized against us. And look, this isn't just some abstract hypothetical threat. A recent event made this fear feel very, very real.
Yeah, this was a huge wake-up call. So in 2025, when the US administration sanctioned a prosecutor at the International Criminal Court, Microsoft was basically forced to cancel his official email account. Just gone. For European leaders, this was terrifying. It was like seeing a potential kill switch in action, and it showed them just how vulnerable they really were to foreign political decisions.
Okay, so having the political motivation is one thing, but actually doing it, pulling off a migration for millions of people, that is a whole different ballgame. It's so much more complicated than just telling everyone to download a new app. I mean, look at this. It's a logistical nightmare, a real gauntlet. First, you've got to connect to all the single sign-on systems so people can even log in. Then, you have to sync every single person's calendars and contacts. That's 2.5 million of them. On top of that, you have to run massive security audits to make sure everything is locked down. And then, you have to actually train all those people on how to use the new system. It's a beast of a project. We're talking years of work with a ton of moving parts. And here's the thing. There's no perfect, easy answer here. It all comes down to a really important strategic trade-off. On one hand, you have the big tech cloud providers. It's easy, it's convenient, security is all bundled in. But you're potentially exposed to foreign laws. On the other hand, you have a local or open source solution. You get more control, you can audit the code yourself, but you better have a really, really good internal team to handle all the patching and security monitoring. It's a classic case of convenience versus control. Hey, by the way, if you're getting something out of this breakdown, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to What the Tech so you don't miss our next explainer. And definitely drop a comment below. We really want to know what you think about this whole situation. All right, let's zoom back out for a second, because this isn't just a French story. Far from it. This whole push for tech independence, it's a trend that's picking up steam all across Europe. Take Germany, for instance. One of its states, Schleswig-Holstein, has already moved 44,000 of its employees to an open-source email program. And get this, they're even seriously thinking about ditching Windows for Linux. Then you've got Austria. Their military has already jumped ship from Microsoft Office over to LibreOffice for all their word processing and spreadsheets. And their main reason? Yep, you guessed it, to stop being dependent on a single company. And it doesn't stop there. Over in Denmark, the government and even big cities like Copenhagen are actively testing out open source alternatives. The goal is the same: to reduce how much they rely on just a handful of foreign tech giants.
This quote from the Document Foundation really nails the change in thinking here. See, maybe 10 years ago, the big selling point for going open source was, hey, we can save some money on software licenses. But today, the conversation has completely changed. Now it's, we will be free. And oh, by the way, it might save some money too. The freedom is the goal. The savings are just a nice little bonus. So, let's bring this all home. Why does any of this matter to you? What are the real practical takeaways here, especially if you're someone who works in the tech world? Okay, for anyone in IT, this trend is a really big deal. It signals a fundamental shift in how we need to think about our suppliers. It means you absolutely have to know every single one of your dependencies, every API, every bot, every little integration. You've got to start running pilot programs to test out alternatives. And this is crucial. You need to demand stronger contracts. That means clear rules about who can access your data, and super importantly, you need to verify who holds the encryption keys. The days of just blindly trusting one big vendor, well, those days are quickly coming to an end. And all of this, really, it leads to a much, much bigger question about the future of the internet itself. As more countries and entire regions start building their own digital walls, all in the name of security and control, what happens to the single global interconnected web that we all grew up with? Are we heading toward a splinter net? It's a pretty heavy thought to end on, but an important one. We'd love to hear your take on it down in the comments.